Day 2 of Patriots training camp officially is in the books, and NESN's Dakota Randall and George Bilecki have the full scoop from Foxborough.
Welcome to Day 2 of Patriots training camp. George Bilecki here with Dakota Randall. Still just helmets and no pads on, but Dakota, what we see so far, second day in a row, Mac throwing an interception early on, but kind of something you anticipate this time of year as they're just getting underway.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think really, and this is a continuation of what we saw in the spring, the offense still looks leaps and bounds better than it did this time last year or in spring practices before last season. It's a night and day difference, believe me when I say that. That said, there were some struggles today, there were some struggles yesterday. However, virtually all the competitive periods that the Patriots have done have occurred in the red zone. Bill Belichick today said that's a holdover from things they weren't able to get to during OTAs and minicamp. So they're really driving those home. And really because of that and the fact that there were no pads, so you can't do running plays, the situation favors the defense. They know what's coming. They don't have to, again, worry about running plays. So it's not a surprise that some of these plays, including from Mac Jones throwing interceptions to Kyle Duggar back-to-back days, some of these plays are happening. But that said, there have been other plays that have been really good, some encouraging signs. Mac Jones had 2 touchdowns today, one to Juju Smith-Schuster, one to Hunter Henry, I believe. Bailey Zappi had a couple good plays too. So there are really good moments, but there are some rough patches too, which is to be expected given the situation.
Yeah, even with Bill speaking, I asked him about what's jumped out to him about the offense, and he brushes it off. He's like, it's day 2, it's minicamp and all that. But to point to what you're saying also, Mac Jones at 1.7 on 7s, first time we saw them, 4 straight passes to the corner end zone. Defense certainly anticipating. But
yeah, and I shout out real quick, now I remember, the second touchdown was not to Hunter Henry, it was to Devontae Parker, and the one note there is that both those touchdowns, the one to Parker and the one to Smith-Schuster from Mac Jones, were with Christian Gonzalez in coverage. So it looked like he actually targeted him a little bit today.
And a few good recovery plays by Gonzalez too, batting down some passes, breaking up what would have been open touchdowns. Certainly the rookie learning his way. But you can't talk about the offense without bringing up Bill O'Brien. Again, no pads on, just helmets, can't pick up a ton. But when you hear from the players, it is glowing reviews, not just of what the offense is looking like, but what they're picking up from Bill O'Brien. What have you noticed from hearing from the likes of Hunter Henry, Juju Smith-Schuster today talking about B.O.B.?
Yeah, and this really has been every time we've heard players talking about him. Again, going back to the spring where Kendrick Bourne, in his own way, basically said that last year was not good with Matt Patricia and that they really didn't have confidence in anything and that it's a huge difference this time around. Mac Jones has sort of indicated the same thing. But one sort of common line too has been, players saying that the intensity from Bill O'Brien has been needed and necessary. That's like a direct quote from Trent Brown. He said the same thing about Adrian Clem, the new offensive line coach, that he's a really fiery personality and that he thinks it's a good thing to have a lot of those kind of coaches on the staff. I think Matt Patricia had some of that too, but it sounds like there's more of it here, as well as some credibility with Bill O'Brien. But again, it just seems like the players are a lot more comfortable in what they're doing, and that's translated on the field. The ball's not hitting the ground nearly as much as it did last year. There's not a lot of false starts on the offensive line. It's just cleaner, it's more cohesive, and it's good. I mean, Trent Brown said it's going to be a more return to traditional Patriots offense. Hunter Henry today, as you said, had a lot of good things to say about Bill O'Brien, that he would help make Hunter Henry a better player. He said the connection between Bill O'Brien and tight ends coach Will Lawing, those two have worked together for a long time. He said that really translates on and off the field, where Will Lawing knows Bill O'Brien's scheme like the back of his hand, and that helps streamline some things. So yeah, at this point, and again, it's early, but you've heard nothing but positive things about O'Brien from the Patriots players.
And just looking like an actual functional NFL offense, which we never saw glimpses of at all last year.
Which shouldn't be the bar to clear, but
it is.
After last season,
after what Bill Belichick did, hiring a florist to fix a car. They both work with their hands, but it doesn't work that way. Also, Ramondre Stevenson, a limited participant today. We saw him on the other field.
Along with Matthew Judon. Matthew Judon both days has been on the lower rehab field, which indicates maybe a minor injury situation. Well, something to keep an eye on.
All right, and talking about the offense, go to the defense. We mentioned Christian Gonzalez. What have you noticed about the cornerback groupings and the rotation that we see, as Seagon is still the CB1? We're seeing guys opposite of him rotate a little bit.
Yeah, I still don't really know what to make of this grouping, and that was true, again, back in the spring where they rotated a lot. It was hard to get a read. I mean, the one thing that's been consistent is just about every time Christian Gonzalez has been the number one cornerback right from the get-go. There was a brief period in the final minicamp practice where Jack Jones was the number one cornerback, which was a lot of us sort of interpreting like, hey, he's finally sort of made amends for that suspension. And obviously we know what happened with June and the arrest, so maybe he's obviously taken a step back from there and he has a lot of ground to cover again. But yeah, today, the top cornerback pairing was Christian Gonzalez on one side, Marcus Jones on the other side, somebody who played outside last year, but we've been thinking more of in the slot role potentially. But at least today, that slot position was manned by Miles Bryant, who's played a lot of it so far this offseason, and Jonathan Jones at times, who also saw time at safety. Again, it's kind of hard to tell what they're doing at safety. Also, you see Marte Mapu, the rookie there, Jalen Mills going from cornerback to safety, Jonathan Jones playing there. So I guess my takeaway on the cornerback and safety groups at this point really is I still don't know what to make of them because there's a lot of rotations going on, and I think that's also by design because the Patriots are really leaning into versatility and positionless defense. But again, like you said, the one thing we do know for sure is at this point, Christian Gonzalez is the top cornerback.
Yeah, veteran Jonathan Jones speaking with us after practice, and I said to him, the way I characterize the secondary, you look like a UFO secondary. No one knows what you're looking at, then the ball snapped. And he smiled and said, versatility, man. That's what he's excited about. Hey, if it makes him play better, Christian Gonzalez, I know they'll welcome it. All right, for George Bilecki and Dakota Randall, that's all from day 2 of Patriots training camp.
PNC Bank, helping to make banking easier.